Stay with us as we look at how to turn your garlic into garlic powder.
In our family, we use garlic, but we don't use a lot of garlic. And one of the ways in which we preserve garlic is to grind it, dry it, powder it, and store it like an onion powder, except a garlic powder. And so today we're going to take a look at how just to do that very thing. Well, in order to do that, in order to prepare your garlic to be ground and to be then dried and then powdered, one of the things you're going to have to do is peel your garlic, which anybody who's ever peeled garlic knows that that is an incredible job. And so if you're looking at something like this, you're thinking, man, that's going to take forever. That's going to be at least a couple of hours of peeling unless you're really good at it and you've done it before. Well, before we get grinding it and dehydrating it and all of that, let me just show you very quickly how you can end up peeling this in a much quicker way. What you're going to want to do is just take a couple of cloves, not too many at a time depending on how large of a container you have, and just pop it and take it, skin it all, and throw it into a metal pot. Again, you're just going to take those, bust those all apart, and throw them in a metal pot. You're going to want to make sure that you've got all the dirt, for the most part, rubbed off of that. You're going to end up rinsing your garlic later. You also might want to do this with some gloved hands. I had gloves on earlier to try to keep the smell of garlic off my fingers, because I'm pretty sure that those who will be around me later would appreciate that. So again, try to just separate all those cloves out and get those into your pot. Some of my garlic looks different. I planted both a soft and a hard stem garlic this year to see which one would do better here in zone 5, and my hard stem actually did better this year. Now, that's about how much I've got. I would maybe put just a little bit more in there. I wouldn't do too much more than three cloves. I've done this once already, and if you get too many more than 3 cloves, then it kind of makes a mess with what you're doing and slows the process down just a little bit. So again, we're just getting these in here and putting them into the pot, and then we'll show you what we do next. Also, this idea isn't original to me. Like much of what I do, I've stolen it, and somebody else has done it. So you're going to take this, you're going to put it in the lid on your pot, and you're going to just shake it for about 20 seconds. We shook this for 20 seconds, and then when it's all done, it should look like that. All the peels are off, and for what peels are still on, they're barely on, and it just is a really easy process to just take the rest of them off. That is completely peeled. So you put those in there, 20 seconds, and they are all ready to go. Isn't that pretty amazing? All right, we'll go on to the next step here in just a second. Well, the garlic is all peeled and washed and put back into a bowl. It took us it took me about 25, 30 minutes to do all of that. I know that doesn't look like a lot, but man, that's a lot of work to get that done. What we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and grind this up into my food processor. And you might be thinking, what in the world is he doing out in his garage? Friends, this is garlic. I love my life and I love my wife. And if you want to make sure that your house doesn't smell like garlic forever, then I would highly advise you to do this outside. And so we're going to go ahead and get this set up and get it ground up and then get it into the dehydrator. Get these put all in this. Wish this was smell-o-vision for you guys. Alrighty. Get this locked in, and we'll start pulsing away. All right, let's give you an idea what this looks like. I'll try to do this one-handed. That's about the grind on it that you want. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to put it into these trays, and I've lined some of them with parchment paper, and then we're going to end up dehydrating these overnight, and then once it's nice and dry, we'll go ahead and run those through a old coffee mill that I have for things such as this, and then we'll end up with garlic powder. So we'll go ahead and cut out for now, and you'll fade back into full trays, and then we'll leave this going till tomorrow morning, and then come back and finish this video tomorrow morning. All right, here's my trays. Everything is all spread out. We'll end up putting these on top of each other, getting them into the dehydrator. Now this dehydrator is old. It's not necessarily the best one. We bought this when the kids were really, really young, and we did a lot of dehydrating and things. I think we bought this one off TV. It's a Ronco. Or no, it's not. It's a Mr. Coffee Maker. All right, I was wrong. And we'll let this dehydrate overnight, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. All right, so our garlic has dehydrated overnight, and we'll take these two trays and we will get them put into the mill and get them done into powder. And if it feels just a little bit wet, see how crusty it is, we'll go ahead and put the powder in the dehydrator and dehydrate that for a while too. All right, so we're ready to grind our garlic. I've emptied the garlic out of the trays and kind of crushed it up a little bit so it's a little smaller and easy to deal with. We'll end up putting it through the coffee mill, and then we'll dump that into a container that's a little easier and flexible to deal with. Again, because we don't want to have to buy special stuff and just use what we already use, and because we love caramel dip for our apples in the fall. And then we also have an old spice container that we'll end up putting this into and then labeling it. We want a nice fine grind, so we're going to let this run for a second. We want it to be garlic powder. Ooh, look at that. All right, so we'll try to show that to you. A nice fine garlic powder. If we want to, we can put this in, run it through all over again, and then do it, but that looks pretty good. All right, there you go, my friends. 6 ounces of garlic powder. And I know there's probably going to be some who are questioning, well, Brian, why in the world would you go to all that trouble when you can buy this for $1 at the dollar store? Well, we'll talk about that in another video. All right, thanks for joining us. You have a great day.